Okay, for this skirt, we're going to get the amount of fabric that we need by taking our waist measurement and multiplying it by 2. Whatever that answer is, we cut out an entire full panel, and then we cut the panel in half. Just literally fold it in half and cut it in half. After we cut it in half, we're going to take one of the panels and literally fold it over and cut it in half. So we will have 3 pieces of fabric by the time we are done. Just a side note, my skirt will be 15.5 inches in length. These panels will be the back of the skirt. Okay. Next step, take your front panel and the 2 halves, put them on each side. Pin this together. And take these over to your sewing machine and sew them together. Up next, I have my organza sheer fabric, and I'm going to cut it the same width of the top of the skirt. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out for my desired length of whatever. I'm making a long skirt, so my sheer panel will go down long. Now that we have the organza cut, I pinned it to the bottom of the entire panel, and I am just going to stitch it all the way across. So to the right sides, to the right sides. Flip it up and go ahead and just stitch all the way across. We have sewn the bottom panel on. So next step, this is sheer and you can see through that seam up right, fold it upward, and then we're gonna top stitch. I'm gonna put my when I top stitch, I'm gonna put my presser foot right there on the edge and just sew straight down and tack that down so that it has a nice neat finish. I did tack that down and I made sure I did it very neatly so it looks. So next up, I am adding a smaller panel to the bottom. So I am going to do the same thing I did. I cut it the length of the bottom of the skirt, and this one is almost 2 inches. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the top and attach this panel. It's the same length as the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and pin the right sides together and then fold it down, then fold it under, and do the exact same thing I did to the top. Each panel was coming along, so I have another about 4 inches of the sheer fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and connect that to the bottom panel because this panel is going to be a little smaller, and then I'm going to move on to a thicker panel at the end because the skirt is going to be long. Go ahead and do what I did with the top. Flip that up, and I'm going to take this over. First I'm going to sew it down, then I'm going to put it over, take it to the overlock machine, and do the same process I did with the top. Then after that, one more panel, and then we're panel out. We're done. Okay. I've connected that last panel, and so my last panel I'm going to do with the regular fabric. I'm going to do about 5 inches on the bottom, and it'll be a little heavier. Next up, we're going to go ahead and sew the entire side of the skirt together and install the zipper. So I've matched up all the seam pieces where they're going to go. I matched up everything so that the seam will be nice and neat. So went ahead and pinned it all together. Pin that up. Let's add in the zipper and then on to the next step. The zipper installed. So now we're going to go ahead and add a gathering stitch at the top. We're going to take the sewing machine to the longest stitch and sew right along the top and then gather it. Next step is that I made my gathering stitch by making the longest stitch on the sewing machine, and I have gathered the skirt all around, and so you can see the top is all gathered. So next we're going to work on our waistband. Also have the zipper in place too. So zipper's in place, waist is all gathered. Let's work on our waistband. For the waistband, I took my waist measurement and I added 5 inches. I added 5 inches because I wanted to fall a little lower on the waist, so it's not so high up, a little lower. So I took a strip of fabric. It's 6 inches wide. And so what I'm going to do is fold it in half. Because I just found it easier to do this way. I'm going to fold it in half and cut it right down the middle. So that'll make it 3 inches. So I'm going to make my waistband. Now let's add it to our skirt. I want my waistband not to crumble up when I put the dress on because this is such a soft material. I want it to stand strong. So I'm going to put interfacing on both pieces. And then once I'm done cutting it out, I'm going to go ahead and just press it out. I've done the interfacing on both pieces. What I'm going to do next is fold the one piece in half, one waistband piece, and I'm going to mark it in the inside. Then I am going to, where my marks are on the inside, I am going to fold this over and let it overlap just a little bit because I made it a little bigger. So I'm just going to fold those in, mark the sides because this is where it's going to go on the skirt. I'm going to attach the side seams first and then put the front of the skirt, and this will fall around the zipper part. I'm going to mark this one the same way. And then if you're not sure, you can always grab your tape measure, measure across, and see how that fit is so that you'll know how to fit your waist. With the waistband, I'm going to take the waistbands, lay the right sides together so interfacing is facing outward, and I'm going to go ahead and just sew along the side and stitch that waistband down. You could have done just one solid waistband and ironed at the top, but I wanted that little crease at the top for a neater effect. So, but you can do however you want. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down, and then we're on to the next step. I've sewn around the entire waistband. I've even sewn the corners because when we're done, we're going to flip the waistband inside out. You know what? We can also clip off edge just a little bit to make it a little smoother. And we're going to turn that inside out. And that waistband is going to look nice and clean. We have the waistband sewn together, and so we're going to take the top of our gathered skirt and we're going to add the waistband to it. Now you have already marked on there where your side seams are. So with it being open flat, find your side seam and connect it there, because what we're going to do is fold the waistband under after we're done. So we're just going to just go ahead and pin all the way around. Waistband is all pinned on, and then we're going to go ahead and just sew along the edge and make sure you get enough to cover the gathering stitch. And there will be a little bit left over on each ends, but that's okay because we're going to, when we connect it, it's going to overlap when we put our clasp. Now that we've sewn the waistband on, so now the side that's open, and bend it up and under. So bend it. And then pin it down. This part, you're going to just tuck it closed just like that and pin it. Then we're going to pin it all the way down. And again, we're going to make sure we're covering the gathering stitch, and want to make sure the skirt is straight.
So we won't have a crooked skirt.
There's two ways you can finish this off. You can hand stitch this.
Invisible stitch.
So that you can't see any stitching. Or you can just stitch right there close to the lining. I have sewn the waistband on. Looks pretty darn good. So next step is it has a really nice inside finish. It looks pretty good. And to go ahead and put the hook and eye on, I chose to use black since my zipper is black and the dress is black. So I'm going to just put the hook, I'm just going to put the eye right here. I've already measured where I needed it to go, so I'm going to put that underneath, and I'm going to put the hook on the inside of here and sew those in and put this baby together. Then we're all done. I'm going to show you guys how it looks. I'm so excited about it.